Okay, I'm going to do a quick little video of a simple pattern, and I've kind of sped the video up a little bit so you wouldn't be sitting here forever watching me do this. So I laid out a light clear coat on the area that I wanted to marble on, and then I picked two colors, and I'm just going to go back and forth from one end to the other, just doing stripes around the rod. Now this part might take a little bit because it doesn't have to be perfect, because marbling's not perfect and it never turns out the way you're wanting it to anyway. And that's what makes it so cool, is because it's always a surprise and every single pattern is unique. So, you may fall in love with a pattern and you just won't be able to duplicate it, which is nice. That's what makes them, like I said, unique. So I just went back and forth to just kind of try to make it as even as possible, and just put strips and strips of my first color. And I have it on the regular on my rod wrapper. I'm just like turning it with, like if you were drying it or marbling any other time. Then I'm going to change up here in just a little bit once I get my strips on here, or stripes on here, whatever you want to call them. Because marbling, you can go wild with it and come up with all sorts of cool things and cool patterns. And these two colors I just picked like a maroonish or a reddish and gold. And I'm using this, what is it? I think it's a CRB powder pigments on this. And another thing you can keep in mind too, if you want the your pigments to move a little less, you just kind of let the epoxy that you're using just kind of set up just the least little bit, maybe about 30 minutes or less, and it tends to move less, but it'll still move. It just won't like move around on your rod blank as much. Now I'm fixing to go back and pick up my gold. Like I said, I sped this up so it looks a little weird. But now what I wanted to do this time when I make this pass with the gold is I want the bands on either end, in the beginning of each end, just the littlest bit thicker. And then as I go toward the middle, I kind of make them a little thinner. Sometimes you'll just sit down and you just kind of design as you go. I'm sure there's easier ways to do this, but it's basically you're just painting on a rod. But I've been wanting to do, like, I should do more of these more often, where I'm actually like having y'all watch me as I'm putting the marbling pigment on the blank. But you can pick up little things from these and just create your own patterns. And this is just 2 colors. But wait till you see how it turns out with just 2 colors. Okay, now I'm going to move my band on my rod wrapper to change from where you would be drying, from the drying pulley. And I'm going to switch it to the wrapping pulley where I can actually control how fast the blank spins around with my foot pedal. And sometimes it gets a little faster than others, but I mean it doesn't really matter because all I'm going to do is just kind of work these colors into each other just the slightest bit. And it's really simple. I do a lot of my marbling, I would say the majority of it, with toothpicks. I don't know, it's just easier. It's a personal preference for me because I mean I just have more control of how much pigment I'm actually putting on the blank. I try to get it just go slower, but then right here is a little bit of pain in the rear end because I'm having to work around a hook keep. But now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to make it a wider gap in between the rotations, and I'm going to go back and forth a couple of times. Now I'm going to take the band off completely. I'm going to take a toothpick, clean it off. Well, I guess I'm just kind of give you an idea what it looks like. But it totally took the band off, and I'm just turning this by hand so I can have more control over it. And as long as it's moving, your epoxy's not going to drip. And I'm just going back and forth with a toothpick. You can get all perfect if you want to, but I didn't. It's kind of hard, actually, if you want to be honest, to try to keep that a straight line on a rod blank that's round. And I'm going to put it back on the dry pulley and turn it on and just let it do its thing. Really, really simple.